Hey, future me here. Listen, this was supposed to be a wholesome little 6 to 8 minute video about the bill for Jey Uso and Goon, and I'm gonna give y'all pre-warning now. I kind of went off the deep end. This turned into a whole full-blown rant. If rants ain't your thing, you might want to click off for this one, because about halfway through, it just turns. It just turned on me. I apologize ahead of time. If you're new here, subscribe. I am on the goal to reach 5,000 subscribers by WrestleMania time. We're a little bit behind the 8 ball on that one, so I want your subscription now before I turn you off on this rant. Man, look, let me get into it.
Wouldn't let that shit happen to me, though.
Jey Uso versus my guy, Big Goon. We'll have a match at WrestleMania for the WWE Heavyweight Championship. I think that's the name of the title. There's too many titles. Before we talk about that, and yes, we will talk about that, I just want to read you a little excerpt of what Triple H had to say pertaining to the WrestleMania card. Recently, WWE CCO Triple H shared his thoughts on whether women could main event night 1 of WrestleMania. While speaking during a post-show press conference, Triple H mentioned that there's always a possibility of women main eventing on the grandest stage of them all. He also mentioned that he wanted the wrestlers to fight for the spot and will not hand over opportunities. Triple H also stated that the main event spot will be taken by the storyline that has the most significance and is more engaging. And quote, "It's always possible. So let me answer the second half of that first. And thank you for asking it. To me, it's always possible. As we build this, to me, nothing is locked into any spot, except for John Cena and Cody Rhodes. As we build this, what resonates the most will become the main events. So nothing is locked in, except for John Cena and Cody Rhodes. I believe that for talent, that is the best way to do it. Let everybody fight over the spot, except for John Cena and Cody Rhodes. Let everybody work their asses off, except for John Cena. Let everybody try to do what we're trying to do, which is write things that are outside of the box. Do things that people haven't seen." See, Triple H was asked about the women, but quite honestly, I think that this was a bit of a shot at the match between Jey Uso and Big Goon. So I want to ask you this question before I get into my soliloquy. Where do you stand on whether or not this match should main event WrestleMania? To me, I think that Triple H's quotes right there is letting you know this ain't going to close the show. Night 1 or night 2. It's not going to happen. And quite honestly, I also think, just by the quote there, and also by what we've been seeing on TV, the women have a better chance at closing the show than Jey and Goon. I don't even have to talk about the CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. We don't have to do that. The women, to me, have a better shot at closing the show than Jey Uso and Gunther. And that hurts my heart. That hurts. And the reason why that hurts me is because I'm a Goon fan, man. That's my guy. I mess with Goon heavy. Y'all know that. I'm going to talk about how this match should have been booked for WrestleMania, and how we could have stayed behind Jey Uso, and how we could have stayed invested in Gunther. In a previous video about Triple H, I said that Triple H, it feels as though he wants to be bigger than the company, by making himself the front-facing man and yada yada. But not only that, I also mentioned how he's lowered the star power of the wrestlers. And for what? What reason do we have to lower the star power of the wrestlers? It doesn't make for a better WrestleMania. It doesn't make for a better show. It doesn't make for more eyes on the content. Why do we do that? Right? And I personally think that it's to, because Triple H wants that certain dawn of era that he was in to remain the top era of all time. But this isn't about Triple H. This is about the damage that has been done to a match like this. Should Jey Uso and Gunther main event WrestleMania? Yes, I think it should, if it was booked in a different way. I'm going to book it for you. Don't worry, we're going to get there. I'm going to book it for you. You let me know if this works with you, if this resonates with you. But they should be main eventing WrestleMania. Why? Because just 2 years ago, at the rate that Gunther was going, he was somebody that you could have seen as a Brock Lesnar-esque as far as mystique when he had his undefeated streak. You couple that with Jey, whose story was breaking out of the bloodline so that he can become his own man and raise up to the main event level. The story pretty much wrote itself. Here he is, David against Goliath. He can finally have that moment in which he gets to that point, and you could have built off of that. But somehow or another, we're pairing off Jey Uso with Otis and Tozawa. What? Why? There's no star power in them. Nobody cares about them. Him coming out to the rescue of them in particular every week does not help Jey Uso. I'm sorry, it doesn't. Not to me. Also, at the same time, Gunther not coming out and just destroying everything with legs as your main champion, the main man on your brand, Raw. And he's not just coming out and just dominating everybody so that he can remind you that he is the man. We got Seth Rollins and CM Punk completely overshadowing the title. In what world would you the viewer, book a wrestling company in which something else is more important than your champion? Okay, let's say you bring in an outside force. Let's say you bring in something that's got a lot of buzz, right? And you say, man, this is something that might overshadow the champion. Let me know if you would do this. Would you, A, put somebody else in that spot with that popular person or that popular storyline or that mainstream attraction and let them overshadow your champion? Or would you find a way to put your champion up against that so that your champion gets the most focus? What would you do? You see, when NWO came around, they wanted to A, take over the company, and B, take the title. And that title became synonymous with the NWO. They spray painted NWO on it. When you brought in the Shield, and they were hot. What did they do? They protected CM Punk and his title. When Daniel Bryan got as hot as he did, and we got to talk about Daniel Bryan in the comparison here. When Daniel Bryan got as hot as he did, but you wanted a different match to main event WrestleMania between Orton and Batista, what did you do? You took Orton and Batista and you intertwined it with Daniel Bryan's popularity so that you could get the best bang for his buck. Who did these things? Vince. Hell, Eric Bischoff did it with NWO. Nothing should be more important than the title. When Hogan held that title, no one was going to main event over him. Sorry, wasn't happening. When you had a big attraction in Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, at 2 WrestleManias, it took some of the utmost importance in order for it to main event over the title. And that was a career versus streak match based off of a 2-year standing feud. Something had to be that important in order to overshadow the title. But I mentioned Daniel Bryan, which brings me back to Jey Uso. See, here's how I would have booked this match. First, we have to develop Gunther's character. Developing Gunther's character is rather easy. They didn't have to strip him of anything. They stripped him of Ludwig. They stripped him of, what was the dude that came out? The fake Fabian Eichner, or what they call him? Whatever his name is now, or was, whatever his name turned into, him too. They stripped him of Imperium. Why? What reason did you have to strip him of Imperium? Okay, let's say that you wanted to separate Leonardo DiCaprio from them. All right, cool. We're going to separate them. We don't want him on TV much longer anymore. We're going to fire him. Let's just separate him. That's the setup. All right, cool. Why would you take Kaiser away from him? Longtime friend, grew up in the business together from the time that they were teenagers, and you separate him. I don't understand why. Everything that Kaiser is doing, he could still be doing under the thumb of Gunther. And you can pay that storyline off in the future. But the reason that I would have them stay together is the assertion of dominance. One, to get to Gunther, you got to get through his men. And his men aren't no slouches. And the longer that they stick with Gunther and actually do something productive, the stronger they look on the outset because of it. I'm sorry, Imperium should have stayed together and they should have been a tag team and they could have won gold and all of that. I don't know why they would drop the ball on that, but they did. Either way. The same way that you booked this faction to be dominant in NXT is the same thing you could have did on the main roster. There's nothing wrong with what they did. and they could have done it again so easily. I would book it that way because in order to get through Goon, you got to get through his people. And then once you get to Goon, it's not like he's chicken shit. No, he's a guy that's going to beat you down. So not only do you get through the gauntlet of his men, you get through the gauntlet of his men just to get your shit pushed in with his hand. He got it with his hand. They should, and that's another thing. You know, I'm gonna one of these days make a video because people keep talking about, man, this guy is such a big merch seller and he's a big merch seller. A lot of these guys don't have merch. A lot of these guys either don't have merch or don't wear merch to the ring. They don't promote merch, and the ones that they want to look like are at the top of their game are the ones that have merch. And we're gonna talk about that in another video because it's like some people are just willfully obtuse or have never been to a wrestling event. If you've been to a wrestling event and you look at the table stands and what they sell, you would notice that the guy that you're probably looking for that's not in the top 2 sellers, good luck trying to find their shirt. Good luck. I remember, this is off into a tangent. We're going to get back to it. We're going to get back to Goon and Jey. Don't worry. I remember this happened twice when I went to SummerSlam and when I went to WrestleMania. I went there. This is CM Punk versus Bort Laser. I went there looking for CM Punk shirts. Couldn't find a Punk shirt. Went to WrestleMania. We have CM Punk versus The Undertaker. They had two CM Punk shirts. Want to know how many John Cena shirts they had? There was at least 15 different styles of John Cena shirts. CM Punk had 2, and they were all sold out except for maybe 1 or 2 small shirts that nobody could fit. So when people say, man, highest merch seller, man, he's popular. Of course he's popular, man. You can't deny the merch sales. Yeah, you can. You can, because he's the only one that they're pushing to sell the merch. For what reason, right? Outside of him being a heel, a simple concept. Let's put Goon's hand on a shirt where he would chop you. There you go. Push it out the window. Maybe they already made the shirt and I don't know about it. I don't look at merch. I don't buy merch. I digress. Goon will push your shit in once you get past his men. And once you get past his men, you're coming at him half-heartedly because you ain't really got nothing left because his men have beat you down. Now he's just going to collect on the scraps. You keep him strong. You keep him invincible. And this is an easy way to do it. Like I said, Goon is easy to book. You don't got much to do with him. And then when you do, let's say Goon wants to go on an excursion. He wants to go and do stuff for himself, right? So it's kind of like a Jacob Fatu thing. You got to kind of keep him under thumb. Hey, man, we're around him so that he don't go crazy. What happens when he goes crazy? Goon goes on excursion, and then he just starts just destroying jobbers and destroying people in the mid-card because they can't do anything about it because they can't beat him. You send Goon on a 2 to 3 week excursion where he's just destroying people for no reason whatsoever. Ref stoppages, people from the back running in and trying to stop him and keep him off of people. Because he's bored and he has to come off his throne, let's kill people now. I need him leaving handprints on people's faces, necks, and chests. I just need him just chopping the heck out of people, just destroying things. And leave a footprint on the back of their head. That's what I need from Goon. That's what I need from Goon. We need to start threatening him with suspensions and everything. And he can talk his crap because he's the champion. Hey, what are you going to do? You going to leave your champion off of TV? Yeah, sure. Let's do that so that we keep him fresh and we don't have to have him on every week doing what he's doing now, which is oversaturation of nothingness. Because right now, all we're getting is, okay, we get a jobber match here, we get a jobber match here. You know, we struggle with the jobbers and then we get a sneak attack from the back and then we go home. That's all they're doing with Goon, and that's all they're doing with Jey. Let's talk about Jey since we bring Jey back into it. Let's talk about Jey. Here's what we're doing with Jey. We stick him with Otis and Tozawa. That's first and foremost. No. Then we put him up against Austin's Theory. Was it Austin's Theory or Grayson Waller? They're both the same person. Either way, both of them should be jobbers. We essentially have Jey Uso out here struggling with glorified enhancement talent. This is why you got to separate your jobbers from the real people you're pushing, so that there's no confusion. So that when we have somebody come out here for an enhancement match, it's just an enhancement match. It's not a struggle. We don't need Jey Uso struggling with enhancement talent leading into WrestleMania for a world championship match and potentially a WrestleMania main event. Why do I want the person? Show me Cody Rhodes struggling with enhancements. He's not even wrestling. He's not even wrestling. When you get a Cody Rhodes segment, it's against the guy that he's going against, and that's it. That's it. When he gets a match on SmackDown, it's against somebody that they're actually trying to build up. But when we look at a Jey Uso, we're struggling against Grayson Waller? For what? Why? Separate these enhancement talents from the real people that they're pushing, please, so that we can start jobbing out jobbers and giving a little resistance to the people that you're actually pushing. This is why a Jey Uso can't remain over. That dude was doomed from the start when everybody was yeeting and people wanted to put over the yeet more than they was focusing on his matches. See, they did this yeet thing all wrong. They did it all backwards. And I know that sounds jarring at first, but you're going to agree with me on this point. Everything that they gave Jey Uso leading into this position is what they should have did after he got to this position.
Hey, well, how do you get him to this position?
Well, it's simple. He broke away from the bloodline. He wants to prove himself. If you want him to improve himself and work his way up the card, let him work his way up the card. The dude broke out from the bloodline and was straight in the main event of every Raw going forward. Just main event Raw, main event Raw, main event Raw, main event Raw. Lose big match, win the Intercontinental Championship, lose the Intercontinental Championship, main event Raw. What did he work for? Where was the work? The dude was main eventing immediately. Stuck him with Cody, won the tag team titles, dropped the tag team titles, main event, main event, main event, main event, main event. We've already gotten to the climax of his story. Main event Jey Uso's in the main event. He's already been validated. He's already the man. So what exactly is he working towards? What's the story here? It's that he's a loser and can't win the big one? He won the Intercontinental Championship. Check that off the bucket list. So now his story is that he can't beat Goon? That's it? It's just that he can't beat Goon. No. How about we get him working himself up? Then the crowd starts to get behind him because he's struggling to work himself up the card. Keep him out of the main event. Make the main event his objective, his goal. Then you can have your people yeeting to get behind him. The yeeting is to give him that Hulk Hogan Hulk up. Then the Hulk Hogan Hulk up starts to turn into bigger yeets. Then Jey starts to do the yeeting on his way to the ring. Then it turns into a big party on the way to WrestleMania. You build up the yeet. However, they just gave him a big old party from the start. What's the payoff here? There's no payoff. And the reason why I'm saying this, the reason why I'm going so hard on this point in particular, is because now that he's accomplished all of these goals, what struggle does he have now? What is the story for him now? He's accomplished everything he's wanted to accomplish outside of winning the main title. But if he's accomplished everything that he's wanted to accomplish outside of the winning the main title, what exactly is there to buy into? They want us to buy into this underdog story. They want us to buy into this, man, everybody's saying I can't do it. You believe I can't do it too? Man, you believe I can't do it? Bro, everybody sees that you can do it. You've been main eventing more than the champion himself. We over here believing that Goon can't do it. You're the obstacle for Goon. The dominant champion, Jey Uso, has become the obstacle for the champion rather than vice versa. In what world does that make sense? So when people say they can't get behind something, it's because he's already proven himself every step of the way. There's not much struggle here. He's already had the opportunities that he's wanted. He's gotten them all. Let's go back to Daniel Bryan and what got him hot. He got over because of his personality. It was something that just grew over time. It started with the no movement. It started with him and Kane. Yes, no, yes, no. Where did yes, no come from? We had the therapy sessions. So we developed it. Y'all ain't gonna sit here and tell me that Vince wasn't that dude when he wanted to be, yo. Y'all ain't gonna tell me that Vince wasn't that dude. Where did Yeet come from with Jey? I mean, outside of Vine? Did we even develop this catchphrase? Or he just started yeeting? What's the reason for the yeeting? I don't know, just sound cool to do. What was the reason for yes? Well, yes came from no. Well, where did no come from? No come from yes, no between him, Kane, and the therapy sessions. And it got over. So then when it became Triple H and the Authority telling Daniel Bryan that he's a B+ player, the same thing that Jey Uso is. When we were telling him that he was a B+ player, people didn't want to buy into that because they knew that he was more. And then you give him the title, and then you blackball him with the cash in from Randy Orton. The SummerSlam that I was at, salute to that. And I was in that crowd, and I felt the same way that everybody else felt in that crowd. Felt that shit. Now, granted, I was in my 20s. That was a long time ago, Jesus Christ. So I sympathize with the people that buy into feeling a way about Jey. But do they feel a way about Jey because of his personality, because of his ring work, because we feel as though he is the best and he's being looked over? Or do we feel that way about Jey because of Yeet? Like how shallow of a wrestling fan have we become if all it takes for us to get behind somebody is an entrance, just the entrance? I just named it for Daniel Bryan. You got his entrance, you got his yes chant, you got his personality, you got the authority against him, the same thing that you could have with Goon and the Imperium, but you have the authority overshadowing him. You have people telling him that he's a B+ player. You have it so that he wasn't even supposed to be in the main event of WrestleMania and people forcing their way to get him into it. You have the Occupy Raw moment. Y'all not gonna tell me that Vince don't cook, bro. Ain't no way y'all gonna tell me that Vince wasn't cooking, bro. Y'all gonna sit here and tell me. Find me the Triple H moment. And don't give me that Cody Rhodes nonsense. Oh, this has turned into a rant. Holy shit. Whoa. This was not the expectations that I had. This has turned into a rant. Holy shit. Whoa. Calm down. Whoa. This has turned into something that it wasn't supposed to be. But y'all ain't gonna tell me I'm wrong. That's what you ain't gonna do. A pivot had to be made, and they made it. And when they made it even bigger than you thought that they ever could. Meanwhile, you have Jey Uso already pushed into the spot. There's no investment there. Nobody cares. So when he wins the Royal Rumble, why do we care? People still sat there and acted like they cared. And you know how long that lasted? 1 week. It took them 1 week and nobody talks about it. See, the reason I brought up Triple H and having stars but not making these stars get to the next level of stardom or even pushing down their star power is for reasons like this. There's no reason why you have this match that's supposed to main event a WrestleMania at least one of the nights, and you don't make this way bigger than what it already is. There's no way you could do that. Jey Uso's over with the crowd, and you don't capitalize on it. You stick him with Otis and Tozawa. Gunther is your world beater champion, and you don't capitalize on that. You have him struggle with Otis and Tozawa. So like I said, Jey Uso and Gunther should main event WrestleMania. They should. But y'all gonna sit here and tell me that Triple H is Booker of the Year and he's fumbled this bag? We've already seen it done to perfection by Vincent Kennedy McMahon. We've already seen it done. I'm sorry. So when I see a line by Triple H that stated that the main event spot will be taken by the storyline that's of the most significance and most engaging, that falls on him. That doesn't fall on the wrestlers. It's not their fault. He wanted to push CM Punk's Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. He wanted to push them to give their storyline more significance and make it more engaging. He wanted to do that. They're in position to be made that way. Where you have a world beater, you're going to have a world beater champion, and you're not going to make him significant and engaging. Give the title to somebody else. Don't put now we're just giving out titles and we're trying to make the title make the man instead of making the man make the title. Why is CM Punk not your champion? If you wanted to have the most significance and the most engaging, give him the title. Give him the title. Same with Seth Rollins. Give him the damn title. Don't even take it off him. Give him the title. Roman Reigns, we ain't gonna even go there. If you want this storyline to be the most significant and the most engaging, give him the title. Otherwise, we have a title on Gunther, and we're going to sit here and look at Gunther the same way that we looked at Nakamura and say, the hell they holding the titles for? They ain't doing nothing with it. And because we're not doing nothing with that title, we're going to be sitting here saying, man, that title ain't going to main event WrestleMania. Man, that's tough. And then we're going to look at a triple threat like CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns and say, why would that main event? There's no stakes there. Because it's stupid. Why would you not put the I can't believe this turned into a rant. It's like I'm working myself into a shoot, brother, dude. Holy. It's like the more I think about this, the more it gets under my skin. This was meant to be a wholesome video. I promise you, it really was. But this went off the deep end. I apologize. I apologize. But if we could get Bianca Belair, Io Sky, or whatever her name is now, and Rhea Ripley triple threat to main event night 1 over Gunther and Jey, I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be hurt because it tells me just how far these guys have fallen, but I wouldn't be surprised. That's all I got for y'all in this one, because I'm going to lose it. If you are new, subscribe to the channel. We are on a goal to 5,000 subscribers by WrestleMania time, and we are losing a lot of steam, man. So if you want to join us and the rest of the crash outs here on the channel, man, just hit the subscribe button. I would say drop a like on it if you like the video, but I don't know, man. People don't like rants. And turn on the notification bell. Click on one of these two videos. Jesus Christ, wow. And if you want to support the channel monetarily, you could. I have a members section. Link for that is in the description, man. We're the crash outs. I'm gone. This is crazy work. Holy.